Good evening, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. Another walk down this lovely, quiet forest. Well, I say forest loosely. I still remember back in the old days when I was at the old diet farm, as it were, and I would walk down places like this, and I would enjoy the wildlife, have a good natter with my granddad, God rest his soul, and I'd learn to appreciate what I have. But that's not why you called. Besides, I need to get out of this place because I have no desires to hibernate in this place. But what I do want to do is I want to talk about a number of those stories again. So let's go back to the court case of Ricky Jones, where, as I've said before, and I'll say it here again, I'm not using the terms alleged, as that would imply there's the possibility of doubt. So obviously anybody that doesn't know, Ricky Jones is a former Labour councillor who basically went out of his way on camera, live, said, we need to cut all their throats because they're horrible, disgusting fascists. And for context, he means the far right. And just from the footage alone, that unequivocally makes him guilty of inciting violence against people. So yeah, please forgive me if I don't suddenly have the urge of saying allegedly. I mean, let's face it, if the shoe was on the other foot, and there's not going to be 5 fucking strokes in this video, I promise you, but if the shoe was on the other foot, and it was one of our types of politicians that was sitting in the dock, they'd be using that same language in an instant. But perhaps what's most sickening of all is the recent defence from Ricky Cutthroat Jones. His defence, get this, is it was, and I quote, in the heat of the moment. To which I effectively have a 2-word response. Bullshit. This was not an in the heat moment. If you want in the heat moment, how about when Lucy Connolly was pissed off and she decided to, whether rightly or wrongly, send out a tweet that called for people to burn down the migrant hotels. Now she, in her wisdom, realised what she had done and she deleted her tweet. And yet, they still sent her down for it. God, what I'd fucking give to just roll into court and just say, you know what, that's a complete crock of shit. Who said rolling thunder in the courtroom? Shut up, you. I'm not that bad. But the cold, bitter truth for these lamestream media outlets and the oligarchy is a very simple one. There is no shot that you can use in the heat of the moment as a defence for what he did. Now, to be devil's advocate of Lucy Connolly, she did technically incite criminal damage. However, we're talking criminal damage versus inciting violence against another person, which I think I know what would be worse at this point, quite frankly. And you know what they say? What's good for the goose is good for the gander. So they can send Lucy Connolly down for the in the heat of the moment tweet, they can surely send down Ricky Jones for his in the heat of the moment little speech. So the way I look at it, Ricky Jones, you're fucked regardless. It's one of two things. It's either you really did do it in the heat of the moment and you'll still get sent down because, as said, what's good for the goose is good for the gander, or you said it intentionally, in which case you intentionally incited violence against your mythical enemy known as the far right. Which one is it? Like, it's shit like this that brings my piss to a boil. People like this who then feign ignorance, who feign stupidity, basically, that think that if they can do that well enough, they'll get away with just about anything in this 2-tier policing society. Well, as long as there are people like me to hold your scrawny ass to account, Ricky Jones, no, I am not going to let that shit slide. So you can take your excuses and shove them where the sun doesn't shine. The way I see it, the judge needs to give this maggot who said those words at least 30 months in prison. He needs to be given the exact same amount of time that Lucy Connolly was sentenced to. And he needs to serve the full sentence, as the judge declined her appeal to get released at that time, although she was released early regardless because of the 60% or 40% rule. But I want to see some robust justice on this wanker who thinks it's okay to incite violence against people, because I want to see some real justice. I want to see some balance in the justice system. And if they don't, it's just another nail in the coffin of the oligarchy, the way I see it, because it will prove further and further beyond doubt that we live in a dictatorship, that we live in a two-tier policing and justice society that persecutes the innocent and protects the criminals. But of course, the mainstream media won't tell you this. You know the drill, folks, because say it with me. It doesn't suit the narrative. And on that lovely note, let's move on to Sarah Pochin and whatever that other girl's name that I'm naming in that other video, because it actually turns out I remembered some of the shit that they were saying. They were trying to say, oh, Tommy cannot claim all the responsibility for the G gangs and all the EDL shit. I probably already mentioned it in the last video, but I have to point out the G gang point for the simple fact that last time I checked, he was a very big part of forcing the oligarchy, the mainstream media, the two-tier policing society, and of course our own indigenous patriots. He was the main person who got people talking about it. So cut the crap. Now that that's out of the way, I can actually move on to a new subject, which is, I think it's Kemi Down Badenoch, who was basically going out of her way to say, maybe we should have these people in camps instead of hotels. Well, I'm actually okay with this. If she's talking about the camps in Saudi Arabia, where their third world shithole cult really belongs. Because we don't want invaders that have no interest in integrating with our society. We only want people in our country who actually respect our culture, respect our beliefs, respect our society, and will actually show some respect towards us, rather than treat us like a doormat. We want people who care. We don't want people who invade, who basically get to come to this country and house themselves in our hotels at our expense, 4 square meals a day, free top-of-the-range phone, pocket money to spend. Meanwhile, we've got our veterans sleeping on the streets. We don't want that. We're sick of that. We want the English put first, not the foreign invaders, not the foreign nationals that come over here to commit crime. I can't remember which Muppet as well who came into one of my other videos and commented, oh, you're speaking all of Tommy's words. No, I'm not. Dense motherfucker. I don't need Tommy's help to speak words. I don't need anybody's help to say what's on my mind. Everything I say is directly from this. So please do not insult what little intelligence I have, but I assure you of this much, it's far more than yours. And I actually came to YouTube long before Tommy Robinson started influencing me. I came to YouTube long before he could even remotely start saying what I also want to be saying. So, you're shit out of luck for that one. But I think what particularly chills me as well is this footage that I saw of a 16-year-old girl who was out in McDonald's, of all things. No, they weren't before me. Shut up. There was a 16-year-old woman, girl, whatever you want to call her, went into McDonald's, wanted a Big Mac, bought the Big Mac, two-tier police come in and arrest her. Just like that. Nice, huh? Nice to see our two-tier police have got their fucking priorities straight. Oh, let's not focus on the bank robbers and the M's and the R's and the T's that are in this country. Let's not worry about the invaders who are committing crime in this country. No, let's go after a teenager. Let's go after a teenage girl and arrest her because she wasn't with an adult when she was in fucking McDonald's, of all places. But that's going to be something, of course, the mainstream media are not going to want to tell you. I mean, can you blame them at this point? Our police force are a fucking laughingstock. Every single one of them. And as I've said, while I will give credit where credit is due, I will not hesitate to call these fuckers out on anything that I deem reprehensible. I hope the girl is all right, and I hope her burger was still edible. Anyway, these police officers should be doing a job that is more suited for them. Going after real criminals, taking out the trash in the fucking hotels and placing it in the dustbin of history. not focusing on our own children or patriots. Your job is to protect and serve the people, not the people that you're supposed to be arresting. But this is where it gets worse, because the police, if you recall, there was a story I mentioned about, I think you'll know what I mean by this, the black hole. And I'm not talking about that time in astronomy. No, I'm talking about the invader that was on the Hammersmith train that decided to expose himself. And of course there were some English people that were ready to take out the trash. Well, apparently now the police have arrested this vigilante group that allegedly assaulted them. It wasn't assault. They were removing an unwelcome guest from the train, because I guarantee you, if you were to put a vote to all the people on the Hammersmith train, did you want to see this man's meat and two veg, all of them would be saying no. Because I don't think you'd find anyone who wants to get a free peep show on the train, quite frankly, and certainly not from someone who isn't exactly fit and packing an 8-pack and muscles bigger than Arnold Schwarzenegger. Rather than actually do their job and arrest the man who was flashing for indecent exposure, they're going after the vigilante group that did the police's job for them. Yeah, I know, disgusting. And the police wonder why the English public have lost trust in our two-tier police. It is exactly these kinds of things that make our two-tier policing society held in such contempt. It's this very reason why we have vigilante groups out in force doing the job the police should be doing. It is this very reason why the people have decided, well, if the police aren't going to do their job, we're going to do it for them. I've warned about this many fucking times, and yet it's all gone in one ear and out the other. And for a lot of these coppers, there's nothing in between. Anyway, these people are ignoring their duty. They are willfully turning a blind eye to real criminals to go after heroes. That in and of itself is truly disgusting. What happened to good old-fashioned policing of the police actually go after criminals rather than going after people who say things on the internet or do the police's job and do a citizen's arrest? It seems like the longer this goes on, the more this country sinks into absolute shit. There's a reason this country is on the brink of a civil blank. There is a reason why the people are ready to kick off. And I'm not talking about football. And it is simply because the oligarchy, the two-tier police, and the two-tier justice system do not respect us. Thank you. But that's the thing. The people pay your taxes so you do your fucking job, police. They don't pay you for you to take the piss. They don't pay you so that you can put pretty rainbow flags on your faces and your cars and support wokery. They support you with their taxes for you to do your job. But when the people start to realise that you are not a political force, you're not a police force, you're a political force, what do you think the people are going to do? If you aren't going to do your job, then the people are going to step in for you, just like that. Because they're sick and tired of waiting for you two-tier police motherfuckers to do your job. If you don't like it, fucking sue me. Hell, call Norfolk Constabulary. Have me arrested for hurting words and hurting your fucking feelings. Because here's the thing about me, and you can say it with me. I'm not going to sugarcoat a motherfucking thing. I'm not going to mince my words. I'm going to say it exactly how it is, and I'll do my best not to bullshit you. If you want bullshit, go see Keir the Traitor Starmer. I'm sure he'll sell you a bucket full. I think he's actually doing a discount. 22 billion for a swimming pool full of it. Anyway, the fact is, I'm not here to bullshit people, unlike the two-tier police, the justice system, and the mainstream media, who have as much integrity as a straw I be. And quite frankly, if you want your country to be safe, I think I'd rather entrust the safety into a 6-month-old child than the likes of Keir the Traitor Starmer or Mark Rowley. And just as a quick reminder for the Norfolk Constabulary, if you are thinking of arresting me, bear in mind Article 10 of the Human Rights Act. That is free speech. So as much as you might not like what I'm saying, as much as some of you might even be clutching your pearls right now, you can't do a damn thing about it. That's the thing with me. I've got the balls, whether up here or down there, or in my case both, to actually take on treacherous bastards like you. I don't care if you did a good job at Brook Hotel in Bowthorpe. I don't care if you were actually dealing with the real criminals on that day. Here's the thing. I don't base you based off of one scenario. I base you off of what the police force has done as a whole. And if you don't like what I have to say, you know where the fucking door is. Make sure to let it hit you on the way out. The bottom line is this. I want justice to be done. I want justice to be dealt to Ricky Cutthroats Jones. I want justice dealt to the Black Hole Flasher. I want justice dealt to the maggots who constantly libelously slander Tommy Robinson and say, oh, he's not responsible for exposing the grape gangs. Oh, he's not the one who made the government and the police talk about it. Of course he isn't. No, he fucking is. Because otherwise, if it weren't for people like him, we'd have people like Naz Shah telling us to shut up for the sakes of diversity. So you could take one of these and swivel, quite frankly. You have no right, Sarah Puchin, or the other cow, and Benjamin Buttersworth, or maybe I was right first time. You have no right to sit here and libelously slander Tommy Robinson when you can't even back up your claims or produce that very important thing that helps you win arguments called facts. That's the thing. Everything Tommy Robinson does, he backs up. He backs up with data, he backs up with evidence, he backs up with examples, and he does it in a way that even an NPC like you lot can understand. If you don't like it, go cry into your towels. Go get another glass of soy milk from Alpa, or whatever the bloody company's called. You know, the one about methane milk and all that. Go and speak to them. In the meantime, we're all going to be living in that lovely little place called the real world, where common sense prevails, or at least it should. In the end, Lucy Connolly was sent down for 30 months for being in the heat of the moment. And as I've said, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. And if you can send Lucy Connolly down even when she deleted her tweet, then Ricky Jones should suffer the same fate.